Calling the regular meeting of the San Dimas City Council to order. Ask you to join us in a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on our agenda this evening is certification of election results and council installation. I'd like to call on Ken Duran to explain the procedure and how we're going about this evening.
Yeah, let me start with just a few comments regarding the format of tonight's meeting. With the new state and county orders establishing new policies regarding face masks and face shields in public places and work environments, the city staff and the city council will be observing that process. That's why we are masked for the meeting. And there also is a requirement, or not a requirement, but there is the availability for council members to participate in city council meetings remotely. At the last council meeting, there were 2 council members who took that opportunity. Tonight, Councilmember Ebner is taking the opportunity to participate in the meeting remotely. And maybe if we just have Councilmember Ebner acknowledge his presence at the meeting.
I am here on the line, ready to participate.
Great. The other thing that's a little bit, or very unique, is that this meeting is also unprecedented in the fact that the first order of business tonight is to adopt the resolution declaring the results of the most recent city council election. And once that is completed, the new mayor and council-elects will assume their office. The mayor and council-elects have already been legally sworn in last week and signed their oath of office. There will be a ceremonial swearing in tonight, but unfortunately, because of the social distancing requirements, the public and family members who typically would be part of this process are not allowed to be in attendance. However, we will definitely have a more formal swearing-in ceremony and reception once the orders have been lifted and we can have public participation back in the meetings. Under oral communications, just as we had in the last meeting, there is an opportunity for people to call in and make comments under oral communications or under any items that are on the agenda. And that number that people can call in was placed on the agenda. That number is 909-394-6206. Again, that's 909-394-6206. So if there's somebody from the public who would like to call in and participate in the meeting, they can do so by calling that number. We have someone monitoring those phones, and if there's a call that comes in, we'll put you in the queue to speak to the council. So that's kind of the formal explanation of how the meeting is being conducted. So I'll turn it back over to Mr. Mayor, and you can go forward with the rest of the part.
First item is the adoption of the resolution declaring the results of the consolidated general municipal election of March 3, 2020. We have a resolution which would the clerk please read by title.
Resolution 2020-18, a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Dimas, California, reciting the fact of the general municipal election held on March 3rd, 2020, declaring the result and such other matters as provided by law.
Do we have a motion to waive further reading and adopt Resolution 2020-18?
I think, Mayor, what we were going to do is to read the results, the breakdown of the results.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Whereas a municipal election was held and conducted by the Los Angeles County Register Recorder, County Clerk in Norwalk, California, on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020, as required by law. And whereas notice of the election was given in time, form, and manner as provided by law, that candidates were nominated to fill the vacancies as provided by law. that voting precincts were properly established, that election officers were appointed, and that in all respects the election was held and conducted, and the votes were cast, received, and canvassed, and the returns made and declared in time, form, and manner as required by the provisions of the Elections Code of the State of California for the holding of elections in general law cities. Whereas the Los Angeles County Register Recorder, County Clerk canvassed the returns of the election and has certified the results of this City Council, the results are received, attached, and made a part hereof as Exhibit A. Now therefore, the City Council of the City of San Dimas, California does resolve, declare, determine, and order as follows: that the whole number of votes cast in the precincts except absentee voter ballots was 4,401. That the whole number of absent voter ballots cast in the city was 5,189, making a total of 9,950 ballots cast in the city. That the names of persons voted for at the election for mayor are as follows: Bobby Mathis, Emmett Badar. That the names of persons voted for at the election for member of City Council are as follows: Emma Maria Ramirez, David V. Estrada, John Ebner, Eric D. Weber, Gil Gonzalez, Nicole M. Gonzalez. That Measure D was not approved by the voters. That the number of votes given at each precinct and the number of votes given in the city to each of the persons above named for the respective offices for which the persons were candidates were as listed in Exhibit A attached. The City Council does declare and determine that Emmett Bader was elected as mayor for the full term of 2 years. Eric D. Weber was elected as member of the City Council for the full term of 4 years. And John Ebner was elected as member of the City Council for the full term of 4 years. The city clerk shall enter into the records of the City Council of the city a statement of the results of the election showing 1, the whole number of ballots cast in the city, 2, the names of the persons voted for, 3, for what office each person was voted for, 4, the number of votes given at each precinct to each person, and 5, the total number of votes given to each person. That the city clerk shall immediately make and deliver to each of the persons so elected a certificate of election signed by the city clerk and authenticated. That the city clerk shall also administer to each person elected the oath of office prescribed in the Constitution of the State of California, and shall have them subscribe to it and file it in the office of the city clerk. Each and all of the persons so elected shall then be inducted into the respective office to which they have been elected. The city clerk shall certify to the passage and adoption of this resolution and enter it into the book of original resolutions, passed, approved, and adopted this 14th day of April 2020. Mayor Curtis Morris.
Okay, do we have a motion to adopt Resolution 2020-18?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and second. This will require roll call vote since John is appearing by telephone. John, how do you, Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Badar.
Yes.
Councilmember Bertone.
Yes.
Councilmember Ebner.
Yes.
Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Viana.
Yes.
Mayor Morris.
Yes.
Let the vote signify the 5-0.
Okay, the next item will be the installation and oath of office. Are you handling that, Ms. Clerk?
Yes, so we will start with Councilmember Ebner, who is at home. We will do these individually. Councilmember Ebner, who is at home, we will do over the phone. Councilmember Badar will do at his seat. And then Councilmember-elect Weber will step up to the podium. Councilmember Ebner, are you ready?
Yes.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, John Ebner,
I, John Ebner,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilmember Badar, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Emmett Bader,
I, Emmett Bader,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the State, the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and the
California,
Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties of about to enter.
Congratulations. And Mr. Weber, if you can step up to the podium, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Eric Weber,
I, Eric Weber,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the swearing in. We now have an opportunity for remarks from the outgoing and incoming council members. Since I am the outgoing member, I really have said all I want to say. No more speeches. I just want to wish everybody who is coming onto the council now well. Hope you're coming to it with I know you're all coming to it with the talent and the ability to accomplish what can be accomplished in what appears to be a difficult time for now and the next 2 or 3 years. So I just wish you well, and I'm finished. Eric, did you want to make any comments? It's your time.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to let everybody in the empty room and everybody out watching on TV that it's an absolute honor for me to be here. I want to admit that towards the end of the election, it felt like I was running on fumes, but I didn't quite know that it had barely just begun. So I don't think anybody could have predicted what had transpired between the election and now, but it's a series of hurdles we're going to have to get over, and I think we can do it. This new council is going to face some challenges. I do want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations on your retirement. It's well-deserved. A lot of people struggle with, at the end of their career, with whether they really made a difference or what impact they had. I really think that you know that you don't have to struggle with that. Your leadership on the council and as mayor has set San Dimas up for success in the future. Again, we do have challenges to face, but I have a feeling that you may still be around as a resource for us. And after 40 years, you can't get rid of us that easy. Thank you to my family. I still owe a few of them a few new pairs of walking shoes. But there's no doubt that I wouldn't have been able to balance full-time job and the election without them. So thank you for their love, help, and support. Thank you for all of my supporters along the way. Every time I needed something, whether it be help with sign deliveries, pickups, phone calls, canvassing, or institutional knowledge about the city that I just didn't have, all I needed to do was ask. Doing this alone would be more than a full-time job. So I certainly appreciate every bit of help that I received along the way. Thank you to the city manager and city staff. I found out quickly that running for elected office is not an easy process. Whenever I had questions and I asked a member of staff, they were always more than happy and willing to help. And thank you to all the citizens of San Dimas for trusting me. Choosing somebody to be your elected representative is a big deal, and that is not lost on me. The council, again, has many unique and unforeseeable hurdles to jump in the near future. But through it all, I hope we can all work within our constraints to keep San Dimas a place that we can all continue to be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. John, do you want to make any speech at this time?
I'll make a few comments, Kurt. First of all, you are retiring after 40 years of service to the citizens and residents of San Dimas, and I want to thank you for that. And, looking back on it, kind of like me, you look back and you first ran when your kids were kids, when they were little, and that's really something. You know how that is, family, as you go, you have your service on the city council. I think you've been a moderating force over the years, which has served the council and the city well. And, and just lastly, you're a decent human being, and I appreciate having served with you all this time. I want to make a couple more remarks. First of all, I'm hearing a little bit of static. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I want to offer a hearty welcome to Eric. It'll be great serving with you. I look forward to that. And as you mentioned, and as we've seen over the years, the council works pretty well together, and I think you'll be a good addition. I look forward to being there in person with you. And then congratulations to Emmett. Got some shoes to fill, but I look forward to having you right there in the middle, and looking forward to see how that goes, and with some kind of good feelings about that. So that'll be great. Lastly, about my own campaign, I just want to thank all of those who voted, whether it was vote mail or early, or who stood in those long lines today. That really is a measure of how we do things in this country. During the campaign, I enjoyed making my website and the brochures, help from my family on those things, knocking on doors and talking with everyday people. And, just want to make everybody aware that, well, they already know this, but you can always call me, email me, text me, or go to my website and use the contact page. I'm always happy to talk with you and pass along whatever thoughts you have, or just sit down and chat. Lastly, I just want to especially thank the people who are most important to me, and my wife, Lori, for all of the love and support she's provided over all these years. I really could not have done it without her. rest of my family as well. I love you all dearly, and onward to the next 4 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Emmett, your turn.
You know what's good about this is we now have two very long-winded people on the council, Eric and Ryan. So if that just for whatever it's worth. Long story short, before I forget, I got to thank my wife and all my family and the people who joined in to help create a positive campaign. I was very proud of the campaign that was rendered. But you know what? The most important thing here is I cannot ever fill Kurt Morris's shoes. There is no doubt in anybody's mind that Kurt, for the last 24 years, has guided us as a community. And Kurt, I personally want to thank you for the guidance that you've given me. And I know that Glenda was behind you every step. So, but we're gonna miss Kurt. Believe it, he, for 12 years, 13 years, Kurt and I have been going to go to lunch. If I remember straight, we've never got to lunch. But I can guarantee you, after all of this that's going on, we're going to have lunch, and we'll take it. As yesterday, when the Tribune reporter talked to me, and we talked, at the end of my statement, and he actually published it, he asked me something, and I said, well, it's a hell of a time to get elected. I think Kurt was the winner here, because he picked the right time, and he's moved on. But for us, we will continue. We have a great community and a lot of real volunteers in our community that will be there to help support us. Things are going to be difficult. We have a good staff, and I just want to say thank you to the citizens of San Dimas for having this confidence and the support. And believe me, we're going to need it, because every day, as we all know, is a new hurdle here in San Dimas. We went from being a very solid, financially sound community to right now we just don't really know what we have, because every day there's a new wrinkle in the way we live. Okay, San Dimas strong, we'll be fine, but there will be changes. And thank you once again, Kurt, for everything you've done for this community.
Well, I'd just like to thank each of you for the kind words you said, but I have noticed in this retiring process for various organizations that there are a lot of exaggerations. But when you're leaving, they're all on the good side instead of when you're here. So leaving is a good thing, because people forget the bad and want to say nice things. They exaggerate a little, but thank you all very much. I think we're now going to let you, we're going to recess this meeting.
I wonder if I could just say a few words,
Yeah, sure.
if I may.
Sure.
I wanted to congratulate Eric. And Eric, you ran a fantastic campaign, and all the work you did and everything paid off, and you deserve to have won your election, and congratulations. And John, I'm very happy to see you back on the city council. If anyone deserves to be reelected, it was you. And we're also very lucky with our new mayor. We're going to have a lot of problems, but Emmett has a long record of outstanding service to the community. He's been around for probably 20 years working, knowing the community, and congratulations, Emmett, and I think that you will do an outstanding job, and I think you have the knowledge and hard work ethic to do that. Lastly, I'd like to say goodbye to the mayor. He's been on the council as either city council person or mayor for 40 years, I believe, and I've served with him for 32 of those years. And when you serve with someone for 32 years, you really know what they're all about. And he's just been outstanding, very lucky for the community to have such an outstanding, honest, forthright person who has gone out of his way to make the community feel part of the city. And so I congratulate you on your retirement, and good luck and healthy future.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
You may.
I'd like to go ahead and thank John Ebner. Congratulations again. Very happy to see you reelected. I think You always bring some unique perspective to the council, and I enjoy and look forward to working together on the issues that we can for the good of this community. I think we'll get some good things done here in the near future. And to Eric, congratulations. Very proud of you and the campaign that you ran. I think you earned the seat, and you worked hard for it. So congratulations to you. To Emmett, it's going to be fun. I look forward to it. Congratulations. I do look forward to your leadership, and as I've always joked and said, you're the great compromiser, and I think you'll do good in filling the role that Mayor Morris has served over time and finding middle ground with the council, which I think is essential to us getting things done for the good of the community, so that everyone's represented. So I may be frustrated at times, but nevertheless, I am excited and look forward to you serving in that role. I might be eating those words in a few weeks, but either way, I do look forward to it, and congrats. And to the mayor, I have to laugh because, honorary wise sometimes are the two words that come to mind when I think of you, when we've had some very fun times over the last few years, but very sobering in the last month and a half, sitting here watching and, reflecting on the times that you would discuss the budget and the times you would have foresight to be able to look at times ahead. And here we are. And the most sobering call was that call a week or two ago when we were all on the phone talking about the financial future of the city. And it makes a lot more sense. And so I'm going to miss you more than you may ever know, but I've certainly come to appreciate you a lot in the last year, but really a lot recently. You don't realize what you had till it's gone, and I'm sad to see you go. But congratulations on your retirement, and I hope you're still around.
Well, thank you both. Thank you. Now I think I'm turning this over to you.
I think
Correct?
we're going to take a recess.
Well, to take the recess and
We'll take a 5-minute recess
Yes.
and reorganize, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
okay.
Good evening. We'll take this opportunity to reconvene the city council meeting. Okay, and we'll start with oral communications.
Yeah, just as a reminder, we are taking oral communications, or if anyone would like to comment on any item on the agenda, we do have the telephone number on the screen if you're watching at home or streaming. The number is 909-394-6206. We also realize that there's a little bit of a lag in time between our broadcast and when people call in. So if you call in, we've got someone who will answer the phone, and we'll put you in the queue and patch you into the city council chambers. But I believe we do have somebody online right now as far as an oral communication comment.
Hello, San Dimas City Council.
Hello.
You're live.
Tom speaking. Good evening, City Council and fellow residents. I would like to congratulate both Councilman John Ebner and Eric Weber, as well as our new mayor, Emmett Badar, for the outcome of their campaigns. They ran very respectful and honest campaigns, and despite one candidate disparaging Eric Weber throughout the campaign and a supporter of theirs calling him a karma copper, he won and is your councilman. Now that the election is over, it's time to get to work. It's time to stand and deliver the sort of leadership San Dimas needs. And we, the people of San Dimas, need to come together in supporting them and holding them accountable. There are a lot of trials and tribulations that are headed our way, but in the end, we will overcome them. San Dimas will shine, and we will prove to everyone that San Dimas is number one in initiative and leadership throughout the San Gabriel Valley. I wish everyone well, and I yield back the balance of my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further thoughts? I'm being told that there are none. We'll move on to the consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion, unless a member of the city council requests a separate discussion. That item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate motion.
Move approval.
It's been moved and second. Do we have to have a roll call vote? Yes. Okay.
Okay, I got to get my alphabets right now this time. Councilmember Bertone,
Aye.
Councilmember Ebner,
Aye.
Councilmember Vienna,
Aye.
Councilmember Weber,
Aye.
and Mayor Badar.
Aye.
Signifies a 5-0 vote.
Okay, we'll move on to other business and annual progress report to the HCD on the 2014-21 housing element.
Yeah, this is a required report that the city is required to submit to the Housing Authority every year. It was on your last agenda, but there were a couple of attachments that were not included. So it's really just an update on what our housing activity has been over the last 5 years. And I don't think I need to go through the report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. If there are no questions, the recommended action would be to accept the report and adopt it.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Bertone,
Aye.
Councilmember Ebner,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Vienna,
Aye.
Councilmember Weber,
Aye.
Mayor Badar.
Aye.
Signifies a 5-0 vote. Motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to a COVID-19 update from the city manager.
Yeah, I'd like to take the opportunity just to kind of provide an update to the council and the community on what the city's current actions and activities are regarding the COVID-19 virus. And as the council is very aware, and the community, that this information changes daily, if not hourly, with new information that comes down from the federal, the state, and the county as far as requirements and orders. But as it stands right now, the city is still providing essential services to our community. We have our staff, most of which are still working. Some are out due to illnesses, or none of our staff have contracted the virus positively as of now, but there are some who are out because of just general illness or family situations. But we are still trying to provide the essential services to our community. One of the most important services that we feel that we are trying to continue to provide is public information. Our city website, we are posting information in real time as we receive it from other levels of government. We are providing a press release at the end of the day which recaps new information that's going on throughout the community. And so if anybody would like to keep in touch with what's going on with the city, we strongly suggest that you go to the city's website and that you also sign up for our Facebook and our Twitter feeds, because that's the portal that we're trying to provide the most up-to-date information for our community. We are providing those essential services, as I mentioned. Prominent of those is public safety. We're continuing to work with the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department to make sure that they're providing the public safety services through our community. The Sheriff's Department has added additional patrol vehicles throughout the community, just so that we have a public safety presence and that we're monitoring the community and the businesses, whether they're open or closed. I received an email from the Fire Department yesterday, and their protocols have been modified, but they're still providing the Fire Department services that the community needs and continues to expect. All of our city facilities are closed to the public. Our City Hall is open to our employees, but it is closed to the public. We do have telephone numbers that the public can contact us to get information regarding the public services that we are continuing to provide. Our senior center, our recreation center, and all of our park amenities are closed. However, our park restrooms are open. The open spaces in our parks are still open to the community. They were closed on Easter Sunday due to an order by the county, but our park facilities, as far as the green spaces, are still open. Our trails are all closed per county order. As I said, the city staff is still answering phones, whether it's in City Hall or remotely. We are still maintaining our maintenance of our public infrastructure, our streets, our parks, and the facilities that are open, so that for those people who do need to move about, that those public areas are maintained in a safe manner. We're also trying to continue to work with our public utilities, whether it's California Edison, Southern California Gas, or the water company, to make sure that those utilities are being maintained. And if there are emergency projects that need to occur, our staff is working with them to make sure that we are cooperating with them to make sure that those projects continue to move forward. We're also trying to make sure that we try and keep our economy working. So there are businesses that are still open, and there are projects that are still in the works as far as construction projects. So our staff is still attempting to issue permits where necessary, offer inspections where possible, so that we can keep those construction projects working and those businesses that need our services continuing to provide the services that they need. There are some city projects that had been in the works for some time and are still continuing to go forward. One of those that started this week was the walking path at Villa Verde Park. That was a project that had been in the works for quite some time. We awarded the contract prior to the pandemic, and in order to try and keep the contractor who was awarded the contract and their workers working, we continue to go forward with that project. It began this week. It is a two-phase project, so the half of the walking path will be open at each part of the phases. So I know it may seem like it might be an inconvenience for some people who want to use our park facilities during this difficult time, but rest assured that half of the path will be open at all times. And again, we're trying to move that project forward and work with the contractor to make sure that his employees are continued to be employed during this time. The city's also providing necessary social services to our community. We continue our senior lunch delivery service program, our Get About and our San Dimas Dial-A-Ride program, though a little bit modified, are still continuing to operate because we realize that people need that transportation service to get out to do their shopping and go to doctor's appointments. Our recreation department has developed some virtual recreation programs, and we also have what's being referred to as the San Dimas Cares food delivery program, which is in the formative stages and will actually be launching sometime within the next couple of days, which will provide needed services for homebound individuals. We still are working with our other service providers, such as Waste Management, which at this point, they are still continuing their regular weekly trash pickup. They do have some modifications to the bulky item pickup because of some reduction in their workforce. The Humane Society is still operating, and they are providing essential services for caring for the animals that are at their shelters. They're also dealing with any dead animals or wildlife issues that are in the community, so that service is continuing to operate, and we're continuing to work with those partners to make sure that they're providing those services. We're trying to support our local businesses, as I mentioned, and our local restaurants. We are working with the Chamber of Commerce and maintaining a list of restaurants that are providing takeout or delivery services, and we're working on updating that on a regular basis and putting that on our website. So if you would like to continue to support and utilize our local businesses, please go to our website so that you can find that information. We're also trying to be a conduit for small businesses who may be struggling, and the federal government as well as the state government and county have also provided Small Business Association loans and grants. We're trying to match small businesses up with information on how to apply for those assistances. So if you would like to go to our website or give us a call, we'll put you in touch with the right agency that can provide you with that assistance if you need it. We're also looking at the future and focusing on our economic recovery, not only for our businesses and our community, but also for the city itself. Obviously, none of us know at this point in time when our businesses will resume normal operations, and if some of them may not be able to resume normal operations. So we are looking for, looking down the road at what this impact is going to have on our businesses, our residents, as well as the city, because we are actually going to be losing a significant amount of revenue due to the businesses that are having to be shut down. So we are doing some modeling and trying to anticipate what our budget's going to look like for the next year and the next couple of years. But again, that's very difficult because we don't know how long this is going to be sustained, whether it's going to be another 2-3 weeks or 2-3 months or 6 months or a year. So we've got a lot of modeling projections that we're looking at to see how the city can economically recover from this situation. And one specific topic that was raised at the last city council meeting had to do with eviction notices and rent deferrals for residents and businesses. And so there's actually been some very new information as of just today that is relevant. So I'd like to call on our city attorney, Jeff Malawe, to give you an update on the status of the impacts of evictions and rent deferrals for commercial and residential businesses.
Thanks, Ken. I was asked today to provide an update about what's been going on at all the different levels of government since the COVID-19 crisis began about a month ago with regard to protections against eviction for both commercial and residential.
I'm sorry, it's possible you can come up to the mic. I'm not sure if people know.
Yeah.
The mic's working, I'm not sure.
I was told that it's working, but it doesn't seem to be as loud in the room. So I think I'll come up to the podium.
Thank you.
saying, I wanted to give an update to the council about what's been going on over the past month since this crisis started at all different levels of government with regard to protections for residential and commercial tenants that have been adopted at both the state and county levels. So the first thing that occurred was on March 16th, which is almost a month ago. Governor Newsom issued an executive order that didn't do anything at the state level, didn't adopt any state rule, but it authorized local governments to adopt bans on evictions of both commercial and residential tenants, but only in the case of non-payment of rent, and only if that non-payment of rent was caused by a loss of income that was documented to be due to COVID-19. And the governor authorized that authority to local governments until May 31st. 3 days later, on March 19, LA County took action to ban both commercial and residential evictions through May 31st in the unincorporated areas of LA County. So not in any cities, but only in the unincorporated areas. And that's also only for non-payment of rent caused by COVID-19. 8 days after that, on March 27th, the governor took additional action and even adopted a rule at the state level banning the eviction of any residential tenant statewide until May 31st. Also only for non-payment of rent, and only if that non-payment of rent is caused by a loss of income caused by COVID-19. So there currently is a statewide ban on evictions of residential tenants if it's for non-payment of rent caused by COVID-19. About 8 days ago, on April 6th, the California Judicial Council took even further supportive action. And so the California Judicial Council is a body that governs all courts in California, and it can create special emergency rules for the courts in California. The Judicial Council is made up of members of the state Supreme Court, as well as some members of the Courts of Appeal, some members of the State Senate and the State Assembly. On April 6th, the Judicial Council ordered that no court shall issue a summons on any unlawful detainer action in the state until 90 days after the governor ends the state of emergency for COVID-19. And that is for any eviction, commercial eviction, residential eviction, for any reason. And this is not just evictions that are caused by COVID-19, but it is for any reason. The only exception is if the eviction is needed to protect health and safety. So what that means is, essentially, if a landlord files in court today or any time up to 90 days after the state of emergency ends, the court will not hear that unlawful detainer case, and it will not issue a summons in that case to hail the defendant into court, which essentially means no one can be evicted until 90 days after the state of emergency ends. And that's both for residential and commercial tenants. Just today, the LA County Board of Supervisors took action to extend or expand upon its ban that it had already adopted on March 19th for the unincorporated areas. Today, LA County extended that ban to cities within LA County. So now, residential and commercial evictions are banned within all cities in LA County. They also expressly include mobile home parks, which was not expressly included in their earlier ban. And they added a due date for the back due rent. So they said that back due rent is going to be due 12 months after May 31st. So their ban applies all the way to May 31st, and they're also saying today now that any back rent due will not be due until 12 months after May 31st. So those are the protections that have been implemented at both the state and county levels. I think that, in my opinion, provides significant legal protection against both evictions for residential and commercial tenants. If the council in San Dimas wanted to take further action, then you could request that we bring that back to a future meeting agenda. But that is a legal summary of what's gone on in the past month. I'm available for questions, if you have any.
This is John. Just had one comment, and that's to thank City Attorney Jeff Malavi and City Manager Ken Duran for providing that information. There were a few people, or a lot of people, interested in that, and I think this satisfies the need that we were concerned about. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Any other questions of Jeff?
Any other questions regarding anything that I covered prior to the eviction, as far as our response to the pandemic? Okay.
Okay, members of the audience, this is an opportunity for you to call in and speak for a period of 5 minutes, or as determined by the chair. So do we have any other people on the line? John? Brad?
No?
It appears there's no one on the line. City manager,
I have nothing further to report.
city attorney?
I don't have anything to report, Mayor, but I just wanted to congratulate you in your new role. Also congratulate Councilmember Weber in his new role, and also congratulate Councilmember Ebner for his reelection to the City Council. I look forward to working with all of you over the next many years to serve the good for the community of San Dimas.
Thanks, Jeff.
Members of the city council? We'll start with John, because you're up here. Hey, John, you still with us?
Oh, did you say John?
Yeah, you're John. You have some comments you want to make?
Oh, well, if you were calling on me, Emmett, then no, I don't. And I'll look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Okay. How about Ryan?
Sure. For those that are watching, don't be alarmed. I did not pick to be sitting down here. I want to be perfectly clear. That is done. But I did yield my seat to newly elected council member Weber tonight. I think it's important for his first meeting that he sits on the dais. And congratulations again, Eric. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations, John. And Emmett, congrats again. I think we're going to have a tough road ahead, but I look forward to working with everybody that's on council here. I just wanted to acknowledge and thank staff for their innovative approach to Easter. I think they did some fantastic things with Parks and Rec, as well as the Easter Bunny and the Heroes Foundation. So that was pretty awesome. I appreciated that. I think it made Easter for a lot of families. I also want to acknowledge the fire department and the sheriff's department that have been out there doing a lot of community outreach and community-oriented policing. They've done well on their social media, I think, in raising awareness of some of the great things that they're doing. I think it's important that people see that, and specifically they went to a couple birthdays in the community and brought the fire truck and the police trucks like they've done for National Night Out, and I think that was really well received. I heard positive feedback from the community about that, so thank you, and to all the deputies, to all of the firefighters, the care ambulance workers, and all of our city staff, thank you for working during this time. It's difficult. I know it's scary for some, but we do have service to provide. This is public service, and I'm grateful for all of you that show up and ring the bell each day, just the way like I do and others do as well. So we're all in this together, as they say, and I'm thankful for that. San Dimas Cares, I think, is a great thing. I actually really appreciated seeing the innovation being brought forward. I look forward to the community partnerships to make that happen, and I'm excited to see the community stakeholders coming together for that. And the last thing is, I'd like to extend an offer to the newly elected mayor. Since getting a haircut's like prohibition trying to get alcohol, I've recently taken up haircuts, and I'd be willing to give you one. So you let me know. We'll do it properly. Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Thank you. Dennis?
Well, I just want to wish everyone health. Please follow the rules, and I think we'll come out of this soon. And I want to congratulate Ken Duran and his staff for continuing providing services to the community, which I think are very important, especially to the seniors. And I think the city is doing, under the circumstances, an excellent job. So congratulations on that. And hopefully we'll be back to normal soon. And congratulations again to Eric, John, and especially our new mayor, who I have a lot of faith in, and I think will do an excellent job.
Thank you, Dennis. Eric?
I'd just like to point out that of all the stories that are coming out on social media, that everything that I've seen coming out of San Dimas is about the city coming together and taking care of each other, and that means a lot. I think that's the majority of the reason why people want to live in San Dimas, the reason that I want to serve on the city council for San Dimas, because it is a great group of people. So thank you to everyone in the community just for being good to each other. I think that's very important right now. Again, thank you to everybody on the current council. I really look forward to working with everybody. It's going to be a challenge. I'm going to be drinking out of a fire hydrant for a good long while, and I'm sure at some point I'll be tapping into everybody in this room as a resource, and it's going to be interesting. So thank you.
Well, I can tell you it's strange sitting up here, especially in this seat that was kept warm for over 24 years by Mayor Morris. I don't even like calling him Mayor Morris because he's my friend, Kurt, and I truly appreciate that, and I hope that everything that he looks forward to with traveling with his wife can come around soon. I know he had some plans to go to Texas and a couple other places, but I'm sure that he will get those done. In fact, he even bought his wife a new car to do that. So with those things being said, I just want to thank the staff. Ken, I really wanted to bring Hector in here and have him talk about the Villa Verde Park issue, but you covered it pretty well, okay, because we've gotten several phone calls from people who believe that we had just gone off our minds and just put chain fence up around the walking path to prevent everything. But I guarantee you, this is going to be something that the community has wanted for a long time, and it unfortunately came at this time, and it's being done. But I looked up at there today, and the crew knows that they need to get it done, so they're working extra hard. I just want to remind everybody, and I would ask Ken to speak to this, about press releases. What we're doing about press releases, how often we're sending them out, and each day. If you could take that, please, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. As I said, we're trying to push out information in real time, so when we get information from other agencies throughout the day, we're pushing it out on our website and our social media. But at the end of the day, usually about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, we do a summary press release that we summarize all the information that we put out throughout the day. And so if people want to go to our website or subscribe to our service that we push it out on, they can do that, and we can get that information out to them. So we're trying to keep that information fresh to the community. But speaking of that, I was just informed that because of the lag, we did have a couple of people who wanted to comment under oral communications. So, Mr. Mayor, if we can go back up to that, I think we've got a couple people on the line who might want to speak.
Absolutely.
That's okay?
Go ahead.
All right.
San Dimas City Council, you're live.
Hello, good evening. I would like to congratulate Kurt as he moves forward to enjoy his retirement after 40 years of excellent service to San Dimas. Congratulations to Eric Weber, John Ebner, and Emmett Badar for successful campaigns. And I'm very sorry that the wives and the families could not attend tonight's official swearing in, but thankful in these difficult times to have a cohesive council moving forward to face the unknown ahead. Thank you to Ken and Deborah and all of the staff for continuing to keep the city moving forward and are dedicated to the well-being of the city of San Dimas. And Emmett, you look good sitting up there in the mayor's seat. Stay safe and sane during this time. Hope to see everyone soon under different circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Do we have somebody else? Okay.
San Dimas City Council, you're live.
Thank you for taking phone calls. I have a question about the Brown Act. There was, I believe, if this is for Ken Duran, I think he has to respond to it or make a reference to discuss it. Mr. Vienna made a comment tonight saying that the city council had a conference meeting. Is that correct or not correct?
What he was referring to is that there was a governor order a couple of weeks ago that allowed for the opportunity for a city staff, city manager, to have a conference call with council members to brief them on the status and activities of the COVID-19 incident and crisis. And so the city council and I have had two conference calls where I've briefed them. They did not take any action, but it was only an opportunity for us to brief them on that. And maybe if I can allow the city attorney to give a little bit more information regarding that.
I just wanted to be clear that you're right, Ken, there was that executive order, and the executive order suspended the Brown Act in order for councils to have phone calls for updates like that.
Okay, I understand what the attorney said. I understand what you said. Was there anything discussed in that meeting other than the COVID-19 or the coronavirus thing?
No, it was only strictly an update regarding the city's response to the COVID-19 crisis.
Well, I'm not sure if Mr. Vienna would like to make a comment to that, but it sounded to me that he said it was a good meeting that we had.
Yeah, Gil. Essentially, we discussed COVID-19 related matters, and that was it. And it wasn't even really a discussion. It was more Ken providing information, comments from us regarding finance and recovery specific to its relationship to COVID-19.
No other discussion whatsoever about how each person was going to act or react on the city council. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then under this order that was issued by the state, did they specifically state that it was not going to be available to the public or not recorded in any way?
This is the city attorney, yes.
Gil, did you
Whatever
hear
you're doing, I
the,
can't hear you.
did you hear the city attorney?
Yeah.
You want me to repeat the question?
I think Jeff,
The answer is yes. The order expressly provides that no notice or agenda needs to be posted and no report needs to be made afterwards.
I heard the part about the agenda, but my question, was there anything in that requirement or the statement made by the state that there was going to be no other subject discussed other than this matter? Is that the way it was written?
Only COVID-19 matters.
Really? Okay. Well, I know you guys are a lot busy with this finance thing that's going to go on. I was a little concerned that the ballot measure for the tax increase on sales tax was defeated. I'm real happy about that because, as you know, I told you at a council meetings, I think that tax should have been strictly for the sheriff's department because if you had money coming in and I think Kenny said that it was going to be up to at least $1 million or wherever we needed it for the future, that I said that you would politicize it, and you did politicize it. You said that it would only be spent on things that you decide. And I suggested to you, and the city was attorney there, that it should only be for the sheriff's department, because the money that you spend on the sheriff's now could have been saved. You could have used it for whatever you want. So now you guys are kind of in a jam. You should have presented it just for the sheriff. We pay for the fire department, we pay for the EMTs, but there's nothing on my property taxes that pays for the sheriff. And you could have done it, and there's a lot of cities doing it that way. I'm not sure how you guys are going to handle it in the future, but I asked us some questions before about the Brown Act, and I never got a response from anybody on the council. I asked a question about the brick buildings in the city, and I never got a response. I did get had a discussion with Emmett Badar, and he was always been very open about discussions, but he's in a different position now. And I don't like the idea that we ask you questions, you don't respond. Could you tell me or make a motion as to how you guys are going to handle these questions regarding matters the way you do it in the future?
I think, Gil, if I can respond, I think I responded to each one of your questions that you just raised. So I think that you did get a response, regarding the unreinforced masonry buildings and as far as the tax items.
I asked you a question about the Brown Act, and you did respond to it, but the response did not come from the council, and you were not ordered by the council to respond to me about the buildings in the brick buildings. That was asked at a council meeting, and Mr. Badar responded to me to the effect that all we had to do was put a sign in the front, and I sent him and I sent every council member what the state law regarding that was. I also asked you, Kenny, why do we have to spend $1,200 or $1,900 to get on the ballot? And you told me because you wanted to get money, and that county charges so much, and that you wanted to pay that money back. I doubt very much that the 3 people or 4 or 5 people that ran paid the amount. I would like to hear from you on that effect.
Mayor and Council, I just want to remind you and the public that we really shouldn't be engaging in a back and forth conversation during oral communications. It is time for the public to give their input towards you or to you with a limit of 3 minutes, and we might be over that 3 minutes right now.
Are we at the 3 minutes? I thought we were at 5 minutes.
No, we are at 5 minutes.
Oh, I apologize. It's the end of the meeting.
Okay.
It's the 5-minute limit.
I don't like the idea. I think the mayor, the ex-mayor, said in his last meeting, and this is one of the last statements that he made, any of you guys watching this on TV, get a life. Well, you know what? That's why nobody shows up down there, because you don't respond. We do have a life. Our life is the city council. And not only that, but you're making $1,200 to $1,800 a month, getting retirement, insurance, and pay. So I don't understand where you get that money. You're getting it out of our tax dollars. So I don't understand when a person comes to you, and it has been said on the coyote thing and on the railroad thing, and you guys don't respond. I want specific responses to the people. If you cannot make it at that particular moment, the city council should order the city manager to make a response to you. We had a person come to us and ask us about what we were going to do about the trains, what we were going to do about the coyotes, what we were going to do about this or that. And you never respond. As a matter of fact, the ex-mayor said, get a life. Well, this is my life. I live in the city of San Dimas, and I'm not happy with that at all. I don't know why you want to keep pushing the public away. Unless you're with the in-group, and the other question, another question, I'm done with my questions, but we have a lot of volunteers in this city, and I should be very proud, and you should be very proud of all the help you get from the council. So we do have a life. But I'm going to tell you something right now. A lot of those people that are volunteering are old. They're not 20 years old, they're not 30 years old. And you better do something about that or you're not going to have any volunteers. You know, and nobody who ran, Eric didn't say anything about it, Emmett didn't say anything about it, John didn't say anything about it. You said nothing about how we're going to meet the future without reducing the costs of the employees at the city. As a matter of fact, there was advertising for a job in the city that pays $13 an hour. That's absurd. You guys are going to have to save some money by cutting back on the cost, because if you don't, because you give them 7.5% raise or whatever every year without any kind of review,
Okay, Gil.
because they've been there so long, that
Gil,
means you're going to be paying more for PERS.
Hey, Gil?
Okay, 5 minutes is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your input.
I know you're not going to do anything about it, and you're not going to come back about it, but I appreciate the time and good luck to you.
Thank you, Gil. Okay. One more? Okay.
San Dimas City Council, you're live.
Good evening, Bob Olander. I just want to thank our newly elected mayor and city council members. Look forward to having you help the city with the challenges ahead. I also want to thank our city manager, Ken Duran, and his staff for an excellent job getting out the afternoon updates. I think reading those, you can get a really good view of what's happening, resources for community members, and Ken, job well done. Thank you.
No more?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you there, Mr. Olander. Just wanted to bring up and reiterate what a great job the Parks and Recreation staff did with the Easter event. As you know, we had an Easter egg hunt. We've had it yearly, and so it came up to, we couldn't do it, so the staff, Parks and Rec, Hector and his crew, came up with an innovative idea to have a bunny go to, I think they attended 1,000 kids, where they had a basket and they were assisted by the Heroes group that donated some stuffed animals. It really was well received. I received several phone calls from people, and then when I saw them driving down the street, saw kids coming out, people knocking on their doors, little 3 and 5 years old and 10 years olds out there. They really appreciate it. As far as San Dimas Cares, that's going on, and we appreciate that. And I just wanted to take a special moment to thank Larry Giannoni. He's our Public Safety Chair Commission. He's actively involved in volunteering recruitment, and he's kind of coordinating that, and he's doing a heck of a job. And other than that, I want to just once again commend John. Congratulations on your election. Eric, welcome aboard. And Dennis, you're the senior guy here, so we appreciate it. Ryan, eventually we'll get back up here on the dais as soon as we get this all worked out. Yeah, that's really about all I have to say.
Do we have a closed session?
We have a closed session. It's a anticipated litigation. It'll be taking an event in the next 5 minutes. 5 minutes after this, convening in the conference room. Last thing I want to say, thank you to the staff who's secluded in the conference room. You know, normally we have staff sitting up here. We couldn't do that, so our regular department heads are next door in the conference room, and I'm sure as soon as we break here, they'll leave and go home, and we'll go in this closed session. Meeting's over. 5 minute break.